If you and your students are ready to make more organized, dynamic, and interactive PowerPoint presentations, then you're definitely going to want to check out a few updated features in the desktop PowerPoint app. One of those features happens to be the ability to organize your content in sections. Another tool that we'll take a look at in this video tutorial is in the Insert menu, a tool called Zoom. When you create a Zoom in PowerPoint, you can actually jump to and from specific slides or sections or portions of your presentation in the order that you decide while you're presenting. Let's take a closer look at the different features of using sections as well as using the Zoom tool in PowerPoint on the desktop. So here I have a PowerPoint presentation that I have started working on about penguins. Now, this is a rather short presentation, but what I've started to do is organize my content into what are called sections. So when you start a new PowerPoint, a default section is created for you with one slide. I used that slide as my title slide for my presentation. To add a new section, underneath that slide, I simply right-clicked below the slide and selected Add Section. Notice that I could give a specific name to the section, and I can start creating new slides within that particular section. I'm just going to go ahead and delete this particular section, and I will delete this slide as I've already created two sections about penguins, their habitat, as well as a section for their diet. Now notice inside the first section, habitat, I've created a title slide, and then I have a second slide of information about where penguins live. I did the same for the second section I created about their diet. I created a title slide, and then I created a slide with information. Now, the reason why I chose to do that is because of one particular feature of the Zoom tool. So first of all, before we start talking about the Zoom tool, let's talk about how to find the Zoom tool. Normally, you are inside the Home tab, and you see the Tools ribbon below the Home tab. Click on the Insert tab in the Tools menu, and you will find Zoom. Now, if I click on Zoom, one of the options I have is for creating a summary zoom. A summary zoom allows you to select the beginning slide of each section. So I will select that first slide under habitat and the first slide under diet. When I click Insert, a new slide is created with two visuals, the visuals that were my title slides for each of my sections. I could add a title here, such as Table of Contents. Now let's see Summary Zoom in action. So I'm going to go to Slideshow, and I'm going to present from current slide. So here I am on that Table of Contents slide that I created. But watch what happens when I click on one of the visuals. Notice that I'm directed right to that particular section in my PowerPoint presentation. I can click to advance the slide and see the information that I've included in that section. And when I reach the end of the slides in that particular section, when I click to advance, I'm actually brought back to that summary slide, that table of contents that I created. If I go ahead and click on the second visual, it will do the same thing. It will bring me to the next section in my PowerPoint. And I can go ahead and click to advance the slide and then keep clicking until I'm brought back to the table of contents. Now let's go back to the Zoom tool. So again, I go to my Insert menu here in the menu bar, and I will find the Zoom tool. If I click on the drop-down, notice that I also have a section zoom and a slide zoom. So let's start by clicking on a section, such as habitat, and we will insert a section zoom. Now I can choose the section or sections that I wish to insert. So I could choose my final section about diet. And again, I have a visual. Let's just bring that to the bottom corner of the slide. Let's go back into presentation mode and we'll test that out. So here I am, where do penguins live? I click to advance the slide. Let's just go back. Notice that I can jump ahead to my last section, what do penguins eat, by just simply clicking on that visual, and then I can advance that slide. When I click at the end of the slides in that last section, notice how it brings me back to my section about where do penguins live. Finally, in the Zoom tool, let's just go back. I also have slide zoom. Let's actually select a different slide. Okay. And I will click on slide zoom in the drop-down menu for the Zoom tab. And now I can insert slides that I can then zoom to when I'm presenting. So I could insert the content slides about where do penguins live and what do penguins eat. Let's insert both of those slides. I can select them separately. I can move them around on my slide. And now let's switch back into presentation mode. Let's present from current slide. If I click on what do penguins eat, I will be directed right to that slide. When I click to move forward, I'm taken to the end of the presentation. Let's present again from the current slide. And now if I select where do penguins live, I see the content. When I select to advance to the next slide, I'm actually brought back to this particular slide where I added the two Zoom slides. No matter how you and your students choose to use the Zoom tool or the different features of the Zoom tool, or even sections within your PowerPoint, these tools offer a way to make your PowerPoints more organized, as well as create non-linear, more dynamic and interactive PowerPoint presentations.